All right, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to this. What day is today? Monday night live stream. How is everybody going or doing? Damn, already a bad start. What's going on, everyone? It's good to see you all here. We have a lot to talk about because we are officially uh, in the month of February, but also we are concluding Toy Fair 2026. So it's going to be a very great night because we have a whole lot of shit to talk about. Holy crap. A lot of figures, a lot of, well, some decent reveals, some figures to go up for pre-orders, and we have just a lot of stuff to talk about. So I will let you guys know this might be a lengthy stream, so do keep in mind because depending how much people have to say about certain figures, I'll try my best to keep it as timely as possible. But man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, we have to go over who's here in the chat right now. We have the legend, Alum Balcom. Welcome. We have Zed Burns. What's going on? Ionic Blood. We have, who else do we have here? Where am I going? I'm already lost. Derek Holloman. What's going on? Wilfredo Diaz. Cinder Ganison. What's going on, brothers? Everyone with the shark emojis. That's what's up. Legend Robert Wantland. Frankie Pryor, 66920 says, Hi, Frank. How's it going? Thank you so much for joining. I think this is your first time here, or not, maybe. I don't know. Seems like it. We have The Loneliest Monk says Ninja Shark, except I know what you mean by that. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you. We have Kai Trucking. What's going on, man? Russell Terrell, what's up? Travis Williams, what's going on? A lot of people sharing their thoughts. We have Sendel Krishnan with the where did he go? Where's that comment? Oh my god, the chat just jumped. Shoot. Where did he go? Dang it. I can't even find Sendel's comment. Did he delete it? Oh, there it is. He goes, "What's up, Shark? You certified G and a bona fide thug, and you can't teach that." Isn't that part of the wrestler Enzo Amore and then the other taller dude who did that that dialogue? But yeah, what's going on, Sendel? It's good to see you, brother. Happy to have you here. Whiskey Tango, long time. It's good to have you here as well. Holy crap, so many legends here in the stream tonight. Cobra La 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 77. Oh, it's going to be a good Cobra La day for you, Cobra La. It's good to have you here. Who else do we have? Wow, the chat is just jumping like crazy right now. We have Stigma. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. We have Subazor. What's up? Travis Williams says, "Are the file cards on the boxes?" No, they are not. So these file cards that Hasbro is posting are actually created by like a freelance designer. They're not necessarily like going to be on an actual packaging or box. It's just something that I believe they hire like a freelance graphic designer or somebody to create that file cards, and then they just kind of post it online. But I don't think we're ever going to see like file cards on actual packaging unless they decide to do like a super duper change. But to be quite honest, with the file cards, like as good as they are and as much as they're needed, they're too late. I mean, obviously better late than never, but think about it. We're already like 200 figures deep into classified, and if they start putting in file cards on the back of the packaging, then it's like, what do we do about the other 200 boxes? So I don't think it would make any sense for them to start now. So might as well just take the loss and just enjoy it, enjoy digital file cards, because I guess it is what it is. Yes, Enzo and Big Cash. You know, sadly, Sendo, my hair is no longer Enzo. The whole silver hair washed out now, so I'm back to having black hair. But I gotta redo a color at some point, so stay tuned. I don't know what color. I'm gonna pull off Major Jeff Hardy mode here in the summer. I'll give it a few more minutes because we do have a lot of figures to talk about, so let me just catch up real quick. Whiskey says, "We do not need a Jurassic Park mixed in with G.I. Joe." Actually, I don't mind it, but yeah, we'll get to that shortly. Loneliest Monk says the chat has a lot to say tonight. Yes, dude, it's going to be a very interesting chat, or a very interesting stream tonight. Supazor says the file cards promote reading for kids. Too Bad Basis, what's going on? Says, what's up, Shark, with the emoji. And Christopher Bouchard with the $5 says, well, hello there with the shark emojis. Awesome items coming from Motu and DC from Mattel soon. And awesome Beast Wars video. Thank you so much, man. I will have another Beast Wars video soon. There's going to be multiple parts to that series, so stay tuned. And if anyone wants to know what the heck Chris is talking about, I have a toy channel where I have fun reviewing all my other action figures. So if you want to check it out, it's called The Retro Shark. I just post action figure stuff there, like anything in random that I collect and enjoy. But thank you so much, Chris, for those $5, man. Starting off with this strong bang. Very cool, man. Very cool. Thank you so much. Zed says mom calls as soon as Shark starts up. Hey, man, your mother is more important. We got to cherish our mothers. Misfit, what's going on, says might even get Sundown and buy him a horse. You know what? If you guys look into the Mythic Legions horses, that might, I mean, I don't know if Mythic Legions might scale well with Classified, but Mythic Legions has created so many great horses, articulated horses, and like really great designed horses. I mean, if you really want to get Sundown, I think Mythic Legions horse from Four Horsemen Studios might be the best way to go. Robert Wantland says, I'm growing my hair out as well by the 4th of July. I'm cutting it to look like Tommy Shaw from the 89. Very nice, Robert. Very nice. Phil, what's going on, says, I mean, if you don't mind the Cobra Law, then don't see how dinosaurs are that out there. Yes. Welcome, Phil, to the chat. We have Liquid Identity, says, what's up with the waving hand. Russell Terrell says, I mean, dinosaurs is kind of cool, but not for me. I understand the direction they want to go in. As long as we get freaking Flash. Yeah, Flash is taking his precious time now. But think about it. Because they announced, you know, obviously we have a lot more to go because we still got, well, while we're on it, let's just talk about this real quickly. While we're at it, you know, we're only in February, so we still got Yojo June, obviously, and then we still got San Diego Comic-Con, MCM London in September, New York Comic-Con, then Walmart's 3 Walmart Collector Cons, and we know one of the Walmart Collector Cons is going to be the Night Creeper Dire Tech figure, so that might be the March one, so that might come a lot sooner than expected, possibly, because we already have official product images of that specific figure. And then we got Target Geek Out, which is later in the fall. I always thought there was like 3 Target Geek Outs. I don't remember like a spring one, but I'm sure there's also summer and fall. Hey, Romo, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. You did not miss much. We just started. Whiskey says, I have Dusty and Spirit on Mythic Legion's horses. They are perfect. Okay, Whiskey can verify for all of you that Mythic Legion's horses are perfect for scaling in your classified figures, so you can definitely get that up there. Let's see here, and then we have Joe Barrett. Welcome. Joe Barrett is talking all the way from Maui, so what's going on, brother? He says, hey, Shark, just popping in. It's good to see you, Joe. Welcome, welcome, or as I usually say, JB. What's going on, brother? Misfit says, anyone interested in a repaint of ATV and pods? Yeah, so unfortunately, we're going to save the conversation for, I mean, you guys can talk about it in the chat if you prefer, but I'm going to save the Snake Eyes and Viper figure for another stream, just because I'm going to wait for official product shots, and then we'll talk more about those, because, like I said, we have a lot of figures to go over. Yeah, I got a good RTV from GI from Amazon. Nice. Okay. Anyway, so let's get the streams, or let's get the shit started. So otherwise, we'll come back to this list in the future, because we are in, like I said, we're in February. We got, so far on February 1st, G.I. Joe Day gave us 8 render reveals with that mystery figure. On February 11th, Larry Hama revealed Don Moreno. Then on the 12th, Don Marino went up for pre-order. Then on the 14th, and obviously we're here on the 16th right now, we're technically in the Toy Fair, you know, hangover. So we got Sundown, Rottclaw, Dire Tech, Night Creeper, and more. And then on tomorrow, we'll have a bunch of pre-orders, which we'll talk about by the end of the stream. So that should be really exciting. So anyways, first and foremost, because I've already done like 4 videos about these, tonight's stream is going to be dedicated to mostly you guys. So I'm going to be reading a lot more of your comments, and then I'll share some thoughts here and there, but I want you guys to kind of take the lead here, because I want to read all of your thoughts and talk about this. Also, thank you for reminding me. A big slightly breaking news. Thank you to, who is it, Misfit, for reminding me. Arcade Studios and Hasbro, I guess, shut down the Snake Eyes AAA video game. So if you guys are gamers, we're no longer getting that Snake Eyes video game that's been in development for almost like 3 or 4 years, which is very unfortunate, because we have seen photos and images of that specific game like a year or 2 prior, and then we've seen pictures of like the back of Snake Eyes. It's supposed to be, from the creators of like Assassin's Creed and Batman's Arkham games, and it really did have potential, even though a lot of people weren't too invested in like Snake Eyes itself. But learning that that game is no longer it's in development and it's done, I don't know what to really make of it, just because we haven't heard or seen anything new about that game in like 2 or 3 years, other than those images that came up like a long, long time ago. So that's just another way for Hasbro to kind of kill the G.I. Joe property, at least when it comes to other media, because again, we don't have any other, we have that G.I. Joe, what was it? The limited run games version, that 8-bit or that 8-bit or 16-bit version that just came out like I think a year or 2 ago. I don't know if a physical copy came out just yet, but I know the digital one released. So I don't know. It was supposed to release like last year, but there are videos of it on YouTube of people playing that game. I did play the demo, but I was waiting for a physical copy. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell's going on with that game. So we'll see what happens. Misfit says, I'm just crippled, but remember my first Joes my dad and mother got me. She's 82, still have fun. She likes them though. Nice. Shout out to Misfit's mother, who's 82. Very cool. Misfit says, Shark rocks him, and Destro is my spirit animal, though I think he's drunk sometimes. What? Shout out to Destro as my spirit animal. Great guy, great channel. All right, so you guys start off the chat with Don Moreno. What are your thoughts? Pass, buy, love it, hate it? Where are your views on the specific figure? Paul Ben Myers, hopefully if I pronounced that right, I deeply apologize if I did it wrong. He says, as a retired disabled combat veteran, these Joes bring back a lot of childhood memories, and working on AC-130 gunships and H-53 gunships while in military, it's cool to see some of that love to the line. Shout out to Paul, who is a retired disabled combat veteran. So thank you so much for your service, Paul. It's good to have you here on tonight's stream. We're going to dedicate tonight's stream to Paul, so thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you sharing your past life with us. Very cool. Hope all is well with you. If the game was good, they would have kept going. It's better off dead. Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, like, I feel like a lot of these new games that we see in today's generation, they all seem very repetitive. They all look the same. So that's why I honestly don't care that the Snake Eyes game is gone. Like, it doesn't offer any type of loss for me. Like, as much as I would love to have a brand new G.I. Joe video game to play for like PS4 or PS5, it does not affect me whatsoever that it's done. Just because I've played Assassin's Creed, I've played Arkham, I played so many other AAA style games, and they all literally feel the same to me. So having just G.I. Joe, like, if I really want a G.I. Joe video game, it would have to be like those first person shooter styles, or even third person, or like, like you see the view of the character and they're just like kind of like how Uncharted is. Uncharted is a very amazing, beautiful game, have like playing as Duke or something, and then you have like backup characters like Cobra, or I mean like your Joes rescuing them and all that other stuff. But yeah. Phil says peak, not gonna lie. Too bad basis says pass. Alan says love this figure 100%. Chris Bouchard says pass in capital letters. Misfit says didn't. Shit, the chat just jumped again. Where did didn't know who she was. Had to do research and picked up too. So as a basic, very, very, very basic rundown of Dawn Moreno for those who don't know, she was basically experimented on by Dr. Mindbender, and then something with Baroness where she they used like the mindset of Arashi Kage from Snake Eyes, like Snake Eyes' mindset, and they kind of tossed it in her, and she kind of got like the Arashi Kage mindset. So, and then from there, she kind of just like betrayed Cobra. So if you want like that's like the most vaguest basic rundown of this character. So otherwise she was very talented. She's a fast-paced learner, I believe good in martial arts, and she was like 15 at the time or something like that. I don't even know. It's all in there in the comics, but yeah, so that's kind of like the most basic rundown you can get. Robert says, I'm in, but not completely. Travis Williams says, pass. Joshua, welcome Joshua to the chat, says, I barely know Dawn, but like her and ordered. Derek Hallman says, pre-order Dawn immediately. Joe Barrett says, Dawn is a great figure, just passing on her. Oh. Kai Trucking says, but buy good figure, we need more comic book characters. Yes, that's true too. Wilfredo says, I was dying to get her in the classified line, so I pre-ordered her. Stigma says, Dawn's, all right. Sendil says, if I had a dime for every time I ignored my FOMO and waited to get a figure when it would be cheaper, I'd have 0 dimes. Oh, man. Rest in peace to Sendil's wallet. Title Manisher says, yo, what's good, Shark? Welcome, Title. It's good to have you, brother. Liquid Identity says, Dawn is 8 out of 10. Ionic says, thank you for your service. Everyone's giving shout out to Paul. I'm so behind on the chat. My apologies. Okay, so Wilfredo says, shout out to Paul. We're all giving Paul love here tonight. Awesome. Robert Wantlin says, hey, Shark, does that hype do anything on your end? It's supposed to help with the algorithm. I don't know if it really does or not, but if you want to hype this video, go ahead and do so. There's like a little tab that says hype video. Try it out. See if it works. I don't even know. Subbazar says she needs a proper backpack. So the thing with me when it comes to Dawn is that Dawn is like that perfect character, and just hear me out. Dawn is that perfect character where you could not have any attachment to it, but she has that great aesthetic of, listen, you don't need to really know much about this character, but if you do, that's great. But if you don't, that's fine. But when it comes to the aesthetic of a character, just consider it as just a nice looking female ninja character, because a lot of people also bought, the Blue Ninja 2-pack. People bought Akiko from the, I don't know, Snake Eyes, not really, but the Snake Eyes movie. People bought Agent Helix, so she kind of is no different than any of those characters. So regardless if you know her background or not, if you just look at her as a concept of just like a really cool looking female ninja, I think that works in its own merit. So I think that's okay with me. So that's why, like, I personally, I love it. I think it's a really great looking figure just because I'm a big ninja person. I like it. So it works in my personal opinion. Misfit, oh shit, Misfit with the $7. He retracted the message though. Oh man, I don't know what you just wrote, but here's a shark heart. Thank you so much, Misfit, for the $7. I really do appreciate that. Or I guess he retracted it, so it's not there anymore. All good, man. Dang it, I don't even know what you wrote though. I wish I read it. Couchboy says, I just woke up. Damn. Good morning, Couchboy. Joshua says, who wins in a fight, Dawn or Helix? I would have to say Dawn, just because if she has the mindset of Snake Eyes, then, or even anybody from the Arashi Kage, then, what was I saying? So if she has like DNA of Arashi Kage and stuff like that inside her mind, then I think she can easily destroy a Helix. because it's one thing when you're being trained by like, I don't know, anybody from the Arashikage and then you kind of pick up the moves, but if you're someone who has it implemented in your brain, that's a whole different ballpark. You can just annihilate anybody you want at this point. So that's cool stuff. He says, I just thanked you, though it was just my screen. Oh, hold on. We got another $7. It says, just in case I screwed up, worth another 7. Thank you so much, Miss. Actually, I think it's going to be just a regular 7 because I don't think the first one worked, or it's fine. So no worries. But thank you so much, Misfit. I appreciate you for the $7. That really does mean a lot to me. So thank you so much. Shout out to Misfit for the $7. Thank you, man. Oh, Malcolm, welcome to the chat. Says, hey brother, miss you guys. Hey Shark, what's good with the shark emojis? Oh shoot, damn, so many legends here in the stream tonight. Good shit, man. We have Malcolm's here, Irish is here, John Brooks. I mean, hey dude. Greetings from Ireland. We got an Ireland subscriber. Freaking amazing. Where are we? Yeah, she went from anyone else watching the Olympics. Subazor's watching Olympics. Yeah. This is my Olympics, bro. Action figures. That's where it's all at. Dawn got the snake eyes uploaded into her Matrix style. Now she knows Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. Perfect. That's a perfect way to put it. Thank you, Liquid Identity. Sendel says, everyone on the chat, take a moment and like this. Yes, thank you so much, Sendel, for letting everyone know. Go ahead, like tonight's stream. Let's see how far we can get in tonight's stream. I don't know what the stream goal is for tonight, but because it's Toy Fair, let's do it. Let's go a little bit above and beyond. Let's try to get at least 70 likes for tonight's stream. It's a pretty huge ass number, but let's see if we can do it. Let's aim for 70 likes in tonight's stream. We got this. Mr. Samson says only 27 likes. Oh, shout out to Mr. Samson. Welcome, Santa Samson, for the stream. 27 likes total. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Alan says hit the like button. Yes. Joe's man, just Joe, says Robert. Share with all you can. Hope to see Canada, Sweden. What? Hope to see Canada and Sweden get into the brawl for the 4th place in the curling. Oh, nice. All right. So anyways, so Paul says he passed on Helix. I mean, to be quite honest, like Helix I thought was a pretty decent character too, because as I mentioned in one of my videos, you have like a fan base of G.I. Joe collectors where they're specifically into the mindset of it has to be strictly just military figures. It has to be like, even if it does have females in it, but it has to have like these macho looking characters who are just grounded in camo. It has to have the green aesthetic. It has to have like the cool like weapons and all that stuff, and it has to kind of like taking all your favorite war movies and putting them in action figure form. So I feel like that's what people enjoy about collecting G.I. Joe, especially because if you read the first issue of G.I. Joe, which is by far like one of my favorite, even though it's the first issue, but it's still one of the greatest issues. If you just the first issue of G.I. Joe literally captures the whole vibe of G.I. Joe, because there's that certain part in the comics where, you know, the original 13 Joes, they are heading into the village, and then they see all these dead civilians out there, and that gives you like a big indication. And then even though you have your Snake Eyes and Scarlet and stuff, aside from the other original like 11 characters there too, who are doing their thing, but you kind of see the darkness of G.I. Joe when those characters are in the village and they see like these decapitated, I think, heads or like blood all over the ground, and they're just like, holy shit, like Cobra's freaking ruthless, because that's when you finally see like how badass Cobra really is. Even though like the cartoon made Cobra Commander like a complete joke at, you know, a lot of times, but the comic really does like a very badass introduction to showing you like how dark and deep it could be about like the ruthless I don't know, dark, deep storytelling of G.I. Joe, because Cobra Commander does escape. He's kind of like that very mysterious villain. He has that whole hangar, and then he escapes in one of the jets, I believe, whatever. And then, anyways, so the Joes are just trying to find him, and they're just like, man, like, this threat is a lot more than we anticipated for. So I think that first issue just really captures, like, you know, so if you have that mindset of GI Joe, then obviously you're probably going to be like, I don't have any other interest in like ninjas or crazy other tech people or just wild stuff. So yeah, so otherwise, I guess Don Moreno is more just like a wait and see figure for a lot of you, which is fine. I mean, again, Don Marino did come way, way, way later in the G.I. Joe series, like way later. So this is past people's prime of G.I. Joe collecting as well as, you know, reading comics and stuff. So completely valid if you don't necessarily know anything about her or if you don't care about the character. But for me, it's just one of those things where, what is it? It's just one of those things where, like, if the character looks really good, then I say just buy it. Like, it doesn't even matter if you don't know the story or not. Just buy it because it looks great. Because I think back then in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times we didn't even care about certain characters. We just bought it because it looked cool. So this kind of reminds me of those times of like KB Toys and Toys R Us where you'd go there and then you're just like, oh wow, what a cool looking character. I want to buy it. So there you go. Misfit says, do you have an Instagram too, or Facebook might help expand the channel? I do not have a Facebook because there's way too many ads and way too many sponsored stuff there on Facebook, and it's just so damn overwhelming. But I do have Instagram at SHARKNEWZ. Go ahead and check that out if you prefer. But I appreciate that, Misfit. Thank you. Mr. Sampson says, meant no feelings or affinity for new characters. Vulture, what's going on, brother? Long time no see with the shark emojis. Tattoo and jorts, welcome to the chat, says exactly, if it looks cool, get it. Yep. Yeah, so honestly, there's no harm. If you hate this figure or don't like it, it's totally okay. If you like it, want to buy it, that's cool too. Like, again, as I always say, buy what makes you happy, collect what makes you happy. It's your collection. You don't have to buy every single figure if you don't want to. Whatever you feel like is great in your collection, just get it if it makes you happy. That's my rule of thumb of collecting. So, all right. So that's Dawn Marino. She was already up for pre-order. I believe she's going to be up for pre-order order for a long time. She won't be out till July. So, yeah, I don't think this figure is going to sell out by any means. But, you know, because I'm a huge Mortal Kombat guy and I love females, female ninjas. There you go, and females. You know, cool stuff. So that's Dawn Marino. Good to have her in the collection, or at least revealed. All right, up next, we're going to start this off easy from Toy Fair Reveals. We have our Target exclusive with limited quantities up on Hasbro Pulse. We have the Ninja Force Zartan. Do keep in mind, this figure is going up for pre-order tomorrow, February 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a Target exclusive as well as limited quantities on Hasbro Pulse. So, all right, chat, what do you think? Pass, buy, like it, love it, hate it? What do you think? Lidub says, oh, I thought it said June. I thought it was June too, but when I looked at Big Bad Toy Store and Hasbro Pulse, I think it said July. If it's June, that's cool too, but I think it's July. Zed Burn says, yeah, qualities. Robert says pass. Mawcom says maybe just HasLabs. Alan says nope, I'm out. Lidub says, oh, okay, I just read that. Derek Holloman says pass on Night Force Zartan. Ionic Blood says, I gotta say, he's growing on me. Yeah, man, I'm totally with you, Ionic. The photo here looks fine, but just the displays that they did at Toy Fair, like that kind of, like, it's not one of those figures where like I need it so badly. It's one of those figures where I want it and I probably will get it, but I'll probably get it when it's like $10. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to spend like $28 on this figure just because I can use that for other figures, but you I probably most likely will get it, just not yet. So it's like it's not like an extreme need in my collection, but it's like I would just like to get it at some point. Title Manager says looked better in real life. I 100% agree. Vulture says I'm gonna have my Joe's arrested. The Legacy Collection police officer Joe's arrested. Oh man, Vulture, that's pretty crazy. Kind of harsh there. Mystic says, Misfit says pass might get a switch button. Santa Samson says that's not a Zartan to me. So here's one of those things about this specific character that works, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me or maybe you'll disagree, but so for me growing up with G.I. Joe, right, there was a lot of instances where, having repaints and reissues of Joe or Cobra characters is 100% nothing new. But the thing that I find interesting is that this is one of those characters where, let's say if this was back in like the late 80s or 90s or whatever, and if I bought it, I would not say this is a Zartan figure. It's one of those figures where it's like, say, I would get it, but I wouldn't call him Zartan. I'd call him like Thunderhawk or T-Hawk or, I don't know, some crazy ass, like, I don't know, some weird ass name and just make him like this weird ninja. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what makes it exciting for me, is like that it just brings back again that mentality of like, yeah, it's not Zartan for me, and I would never call him Zartan, but I would definitely get it and call him a different character and then put him in my collection and be like, yeah, this is a cool looking ninja. Like, I like it. I'm cool with it. So that's how I would go about this figure. If I call it like actual Zartan, I would say, no, that's definitely not Zartan for me. I could care less, because we all have that perfect image of Zartan with the quote unquote hair piece, or the hood, as some people would say, but it's hair. Or it's a hood. No, it's a hood. My body. Damn, it's a hood. The hood. That's, and with the brown and like blues and whatever. That's our specific Zartan. But then you take this Zartan and you're just like, what? Why did he go from that to this? So that's why I would just say exclude it. Don't call this character Zartan. Just, if you like it, get it and call it something else. That's pretty much it. Call it like, I don't know, Zarhawk. I don't know if that makes any sense. Ionic Blood says, I would probably call this guy Zartan's cousin Vinny. Yeah, or you can use it as one of those like other Zartan, like it's Zartan's nephew, call him like Zartano or like Zartanago. You know what I mean? Just be creative, I guess. Elonius Monk says, I'll wait for Zartan to go on sale. Lidub says, I'm on it to literally kit bash new characters. I agree. Tattoos and... Am I reading this right? Tattoos and Jorts says, I'm buying Zartan. I have a soft spot for Ninja Force. Yeah, man. I think, I'm still waiting for like Chabang and stuff, but like I think the Ninja Force is really growing on me because I really love that Slice and Dice 2-pack as well. So I'm excited for Ninja Force. Whiskey Tango says that Zartan looks like someone from Mad Max, and I like him because I feel like you can use him as another... Yeah, exactly. Joker below the belt. Ooh, yeah, purples and greens. Timothy James says, I'm actually impressed. I'm buying it. What's up, Shark? Welcome, Timothy. How's it going? Thank you so much for joining tonight's stream. Travis says, pass, not a fan of ninjas. Phil says, it goes hard, not going to lie, way better than the O-ring. True. This is one of those instances where they do better than the O-ring, that's for sure. Too Bad Basis says he looks better than the Cold Slither versions. I mean, Cold Slither, man, yeah, like that was like a huge pass for me. Like I did not need that whatsoever. But this one is growing. Like it's good. Zarstan says whiskey. That's true, yeah. Well, let me ask Whiskey Tango. I know you collect a lot of what is it? What do they call Gridiron Studio stuff? Would you hook this figure up with anything specific, or would you rather just use the weapons as is? Because I know Whiskey Tango is a huge fan of Gridiron Studios, and they do create a lot of great stuff. So, what do you recommend for this? Zed Burn says Zatarans. Zardan says Whiskey. Misfit says, oh yeah, Mistiff, hopefully I'm reading that right. Zartan's twin. Russell Terrell says Buzzcut should be his name. That's a good one too. Make it a Dreadnought builder. Tanzar, Zartan's ninja cousin. I had the OG slice in store. Swap the Zed Burn says swap the lower half with a John Cena figure and get the jorts on it. It would make everything. It would fix everything. Call him Spray Tan. That kind of reminds me of Uncle Buck from John Candy Uncle Buck, where he was like, what's his name? And she's like, Bug, and he's like, what's his last name? Spray. Oh, that's funny. I miss John Candy. Couchboy says he's a father now. This is how dads are supposed to dress. That's true, because if he has a daughter like Zanya, then he has to live up to his Hot Topic expectations. So he's just trying to be young for his daughter. So I guess that makes sense. It's a buy, but how's this? This is how dad what? But it is a Target, so there is that. Yeah, that's true. I think this will be one of those figures where we're probably going to see a lot in Target, like in the next couple of months, maybe like half a year, and then they're going to be like, because remember when everyone was going apeshit over the Divers 2-pack because they had the mass device effects? So then, people were just like, oh my God, like I can't find those anywhere. And then suddenly in the past like month or two, those mass device divers, the Cobra and Joe, they were like everywhere. Like people are seeing like 12, and I think this Zartan might be that same style. Like, even though he's not going to sell out, I don't believe he's going to sell out, but I have a feeling if I go to my Target in like the next, I don't know, sometime in like May or June, we might, or whenever the hell this figure releases, I might see like an abundance at some point. Call him Zyle, who drinks Mountain Dew. Midlife Crisis Zartan. That works. Limited releases makes them more valuable. I think they hold back stock too. That's true. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think some Targets purposely keep some in the back just so. Whiskey says just the bow. I cannot stand that bow. Gridiron has a nice bow you can add, and you can get a nice sniper rifle for him, as I always picture him with a sniper rifle. Okay, that works. Russell Terrell says he will be at Ollie's. Yeah, probably. Couchboy says anytime a rock star breaks a big with the band and stylist buys purple boots. That works. Yeah, Couchboy is a musician. He knows what he's talking about. Travis Williams says bought my divers for $32 this week from Target. Congrats, man. Alan says I had 17 diver 2-packs at my local Target. I expect this figure to peg warm and leave it to Target to put 10 of these out in one shot. That's true. Yeah, Alan has seen a lot of these at Target. He showed me some photos. There's like 15 of them, or like you said, like 17. Crazy stuff. All right, moving on. So that is Ninja Force Zartan. Yeah, I guess a lot of people are passing on him, but good figure in my opinion. I like it. All right, next up we have Overkill. Buy, pass, love it, hate it. Where are you with this? I will say that I was not expecting them to create a new head sculpt underneath the faceplate of Overkill. So it does have like that whole cybernetic head sculpt like Frag Viper. So that was pretty neat and interesting. But for me, this is like a major pass of a figure, like major pass. The only reason why I have a very weird soft spot for this figure is because I saw this character in the Deke series, of G.I. Joe, the cartoon that everybody hates. And in that episode, this character basically, obviously, he was created as a robot, etc., but he also has like half human elements, at least if I remember correctly. But then in that episode, he was very close to betraying Cobra and roughly joining the Joes, because the Joes kind of saw him as like this this asset to the team, because they saw like he was kind of growing to become like this good person, kind of like how like Terminator was, I guess, to some extent. But then he got kidnapped again, and then I believe, who was it? Somebody reprogrammed his brain again, and then he became evil again. So because of that storyline, I kind of have like a soft attachment to it. Otherwise, the design is like it's trash in my opinion. um, but but I do like a story though. That's one of the only thing. That's the only thing that gets me having a little bit of a soft spot is his storyline. Otherwise, the figure itself I don't really care for. So huge pass. All right, so worst classified figure ever, says Subazor. Alan says, I have nothing nice to say about this figure, so I'll stay quiet. Misfit says it sucks when homebound you stuck with online. Oh, man. Well, the upside is you don't have to, you know, I mean, pre-ordering is the new toy hunting, right? So it's not like, it's not a total loss. Bill says, not for me, but the head and accessories are nice. Liquid Identity says, Overkill was and is trash. Wilfredo Diaz says, pass. Too Bad Basis says, who? Pass. Mr. Sampson says, hate it. Pass. So much hate for Overkill. Oh, man. Tattoos and George says, has a Veiler and Venom vibes. There is another version of this guy, which I do like. The other version is a lot better with the red bandana and the teal blue colors. I like that one more. Ionic Blood says, I can't with Overkill too bright. Joshua says, Overkill sounds badass, but was so lame in the D cartoon. Oh, man. I thought he was pretty great in the D cartoon. Loneliest Monk says, easy pass. Misfit says, even the gun is odd. Zedburn says, great job on the face sculpt. I feel sorry for the guy. Yes. Sendel says, I can't get past the green, so bright. My eyes. So according to Sendel Krishnan, this green is so bright to him. It's kind of like how in Seinfeld, Kramer was the Red Rooster chicken that opened up across the street, and then when he opened the door from Jerry's apartment, that giant ass ray just like blasted on Kramer's face. I think that's what it's doing to Sendel right now. I hope people get my Seinfeld references. I take it back. I love the head sculpt, and that's about it. Couchboy says, I hate it. Timu Robocop says, Subazor. Russell Terrell says, there's been a lot of passes over the past year. Very true. Jobo Cop. Zedburn says, Cobra Cop. Misfit says, could you replace the chest with the bat chest? I don't think so. I think this is like a roughly newly tooled because the chest actually opened. Well, if you completely remove the chest, sure, probably, but the chest does open up. Tagworm. What's going on, brother? What I missed, Shark? You just missed so far Don Moreno and Zartan. Thank you for joining, Tagworm. It's good to see you, brother. Shout out to your Thundercats logo. The green should be forest green, not neon green. It's too neon, says Couchboy. Timothy says, at this point, I'm passing on him. I get it. However, the color scheme ruins it for me, which is valid. A lot of people don't have an attachment to him. A. Romo says it looks like trash. Robert says, watch him be the figure that surges in the aftermarket. Probably, man. Probably. Russell Terrell says another Ollie's that won't even sell. Hate is a strong word. More like is despise. Ionic Blood despises him. Misfit says should have had a swappable chest instead of the head. Zedburn says he rips off the Mortal Kombat cyborg too much like a chest pew pew. Oh, you're talking about like Sector and Cyrax? Yeah. I can see that. No, Whiskey with the fun pun says no overkill. That's clever. I wish that he was more gold instead of copper colored. Lenny mentioned flames from the chest guns. Are flames coming with this? So I don't think the flames come with it unless they are included, but you can probably swap, what is the name? The snake armor flames or probably blowtorches flames because at Toy Fair, they didn't showcase flames with it. So I don't know. Maybe because sometimes digital but this is the official product shot. So they should have the flames with it if Lenny says it does. Maybe it's just supposed to be like you're supposed to swap it with blowtorch or the snake armor. I don't know. You could change everything around the chest so it can be all swapped around like that. Says Zed. Kubaz Enigma, welcome to the chat. Says, hey Shark, long time no see. Welcome Kubaz. Good to see you, brother, man. I missed you, man. How you been? DJ DC says, no, Lenny said you guys probably have a ton of them, so we never included them. Oh, okay. So I read that comment late after my comment, so that makes a lot more sense. Misfit says, the 2 gun holes in the chest had holes for the effects. You have extra guns. Flames is small enough. Yeah, or the ones that come with the actual figure, or like, you know, so many figures come with those random flame effects. So yeah, I guess you can just use it with any one of those. No backpack again. Did this figure have a backpack, Subazor? I don't remember. Joshua says they haven't shown his chest open, but it said it did maybe. So Joshua, if you actually look at pictures from Toy Fair, they actually post him with his chest open. So that's the only way you'll see it open. It's actually like a small little like, I don't know how you want to call it. It's not like as big, I believe, as the original O-ring version, but it's like 2 small little like flame cannons, flamethrowers or whatever. Light Up says I have a lot of passes in the 2026, but the right price I might get anything. Yeah. Misfit says Zed Burns hot water, good idea. Yeah, this is honestly not a $28 figure by any means. You guys can disagree with me on that all you want, but this is not a $28 figure. If I ever saw this in store and said $28, I'd say nope. This is literally like a $15 figure. This figure literally screams out Black Friday 2026, $15 at most. That's how I'm seeing it. All right, so let's move on from this Overkill guy because he's overkilling everyone's excitement. So that's Overkill. So at least we all know he's a major pass. All right, next we have the Walmart exclusive Night Creeper Dire Tech. I am so disappointed with this figure for one specific reason, but I want to read all of your comments first. All right, so Night Creeper, pass, buy, love, hate, let me know. The Loneliest Monk says Overkill is a direct clearance. Yep. Misfit says tons of figures are coming out for other lines in one color too, or blind bags. There were tons of them. Companies laying off people with record profits. Yeah, dude. Because I don't know if you guys read the article with Hasbro's Chris Cox. He mentioned how that article was actually very, very interesting. I kind of liked it, which says a lot because I liked it in a not so good way because he mentioned how with the use of AI, they have the utmost ability to create as many variations of figures that they want, whereas back then they were not really limited, but they had like certain options to run by. But because of AI, they were allowed to generate. At this point, they'll probably lay off designers, which sucks, but they're probably going to use like AI to create like G.I. Joe renders, you know. So the way he worded it, or the way the article was saying, was like, you know, before you had like a few here and there, decide which figure works. But like I said, because of with the way AI is, you can have like 100 different versions of one character, and then you can decide which one like works the best. So that was kind of creepy, but holy crap. Visionaries is back. Yes, Super 7 is making Visionaries 3-inch figures. All right, let's read the comments. Phil says, this is honestly so bad. Misfit says, I'll get one for the arms and weapons. Russell Terrell says, pass, I'm an OG. Whiskey says, the original 3-inch figure had a backpack, but Lenny said they aren't doing backpacks at this time, so they added a big gun in its place. Oh, that's unfortunate, man. They need to do backpacks, dude. That's like essential to Joe's, regardless. Ionic Blood says it's a pass, but at least Walmart isn't getting a good character. So this character really would have been so good if they just gave us a different head sculpt. My only theory of why they gave us this head sculpt is because for those who can't find Crystal Ball, they're just like, we know that you guys probably want Crystal Ball for that alternate head sculpt, maybe. So they're just like, oh, well, here's a better way to get that head sculpt. But honestly, they just should have really just designed a brand new head sculpt to make this figure pop a lot more. That's basically it. I like the designs of it. I don't even care about the arms. Like, that's cool. The weapons, all that, it's fine. Night Creeper head sculpt, fine. It's just, they just should have gave us a new head sculpt. That's basically my only, like, negative feedback about this figure. It just destroys the whole concept of it. Yes, he does has translucent arms, roughly. But I wish he had different head sculpts, says A Romo. Liquid Identity says, why are arms made of the green stuff? Makes no sense to me. So this is basically supposed to go hand in hand with the Ghost Viper and the Crystal Ball figure, because he has like the whole sorcery storytelling, I guess. And plus, I don't know. I guess it's just supposed to be like possessed Night Creepers. So I guess it is what it is. Like a ghost Night Creeper, if that makes sense. So all of his weapons are supposed to be just holograms. Yeah, to an extent. Says Phil. Misfit says, put on the U Black. You'll get no ads. Okay. Sorry about the ads, people. Ionic Blood says, all computers, no consumers. Yep. I love the dire green plastic too, but the arms confusing choice. Yeah, I mean, the arms are okay in my opinion. I'm okay with the arms. I have no issues with that. It's really just the head sculpt, because I mean, you guys can let me know if you disagree with me with this, but my only thing is that head sculpt is what made Crystal Ball a fantastic purchase, or maybe a possibly hard to get figure. That was a great way to just be like, hey, this Crystal Ball comes with this nicely octopus, unicorn, or ram looking head sculpt with this ghost thingy, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense. Like, it makes the figure like a complete badass. But then you have this other guy, this Night Creeper, that has the same head sculpt, and you're just like, it's kind of like you walk into a room and someone's wearing the same costume as you are, and you're just like, bro, what the hell? You know what? It kind of like ruins the mood. So I'm just like, this figure, like, it kind of like, it doesn't necessarily drop the value of Crystal Ball, but it just makes you kind of disappointed that it could have been a really good figure if the Joe team just said, hey, here's a newer head sculpt that you can aid with Crystal Ball. Because even if they use like I don't know, just something more, I don't even know how to explain it, but you get my point. It's just like they just could have done something better with it. But man. Tattoos, and George says, I agree, drop the ball on this head sculpt. It's year 6 and dinosaurs and boogeyman. Oh my god, yeah. You guys can't wait till we get to the dinosaurs. If you have the Ghost Viper, he has a snake head and wolf head. Pretty sure they are interchangeable. That too, yeah. Or you can use that snake head that came with Ghost Viper, or the wolf. Sure, okay, that works. Green skull, or yeah, a green skull would have been sick. That would have been really cool. Like a green skull with a hood or something. I would like that. Alan says, I had 2 Walmarts in my vicinity that were carrying G.I. Joes recently. They put all of my clearance, so I don't think they will be getting any more anytime soon. Yeah, and the fact that this is a Walmart exclusive does not help by any means, because Walmart is absolute trash when it comes to figures. So if this was a really great looking figure, then I would have been like, oh shit, why is this a Walmart exclusive? But the fact that it is a Walmart exclusive, I'm like, good, Walmart can take it, because this figure screams out, again, Black Friday 2026 $15 figure. So we should see a sale of this guy. So anyways, so that is Night Creeper, Dire Tech. Again, it runs with their Crystal Ball and Ghost Viper, so I like the whole concept of it. It's just that head sculpt was no, so very sad, very unfortunate. Anyway, so let's move on. All right. So next we have our boy Airtight. This is a no-brainer. We all know everyone's going to get this figure. So, yeah. So what do you guys think? Pass, buy, love it, hate it? or let me ask you guys a question. What would you say would have made Airtight what am I looking for? Is this Airtight perfect? Is this Airtight lacking in something? Do you guys would have preferred like an updated Airtight, or would you just prefer this classic design? Because for price point, $28, I think this figure is more of a $23 figure for me. I definitely would get Airtight. It's just I don't know if I'm gonna have to spend 28 bucks on it. So I'm probably gonna wait it out until he goes a little bit more on sale. Couch Boy says green goat man mask. Lidub says it's classified. There's absolutely no guarantee that they're interchangeable. That's true too. If they change the pegs on the inside, we're screwed. Zedburn says good night, creeper. That's funny. Finally says Misfit. Russell Terrell says yes. Einoblet says Ghost Creeper would have been better. Ooh, good name. Too Bad Basis says I'm in. Merging Line, welcome to the chat, says pass. Subazor says bye, 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 bye. Misfit says yes, yes, yes. Phil says awesome figure. Liquid says Airtight. 9.5 out of 10. Paint on the pack would have been great. Would have been a 10. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. Russell Terrell says part of my later OG as a kid. DJ DC says yo. Like the removable helmet. I will eventually get him, but not pre-ordering it, says Robert. Misfits has been waiting forever. Ionic is all in. Joshua says, gotta have someone for Cobras to shoot big yellow target. I mean, you can just put this guy with the mole rats, right? That would be easier. Just make him fight mole rats. Have like a giant-ass neon party with the mole rats. It's pretty close to classic. Would have been cool if they connected to the new mole. Oh, okay, cool. Phil and I are on the same page then. There we go. Gunpowder Nitro, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. It says retro packaging for Airtight. Well, I believe it. I mean, it's a mainline figure, so he's gonna come in the black square boxes, so it's not gonna be a retro figure. 18 at best says Alm. Merging Line says I'll buy Airtight later. Want another shipwreck, says Misfit. Vacuum Man. Oh shit, the chat just jumped. Couchboy says a balding guy, that's awesome, making people human and not everybody a top model, awesome. Zedburn says I'm getting this guy and it'll be available everywhere. So the thing that I want to say about Airtight is, like, again, going back to price point, the more Hasbro, and again, I know this is extremely accurate, roughly, besides like the knee pads and stuff, but like despite it being accurate, it's one of those things where as Hasbro continues to raise prices, the figures, despite looking accurate, how do I explain this? I'm trying to figure out what would justify this to be like a $28 figure, because like I mentioned in one of my previous videos on SHARKNEWZ, I was like, the backpack needed to have some color, it needed some shading, it needed some type of wash. I know the outfit yellow is fine, like I have no issues with it, but it needed something to look a little bit more like, I'm not saying like it needed like more designs, but it just needed something to look less. And I use this term respectfully because Airtight does look accurate. I need this figure to look less cheap, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a guy in a yellow jumpsuit. So, I don't know how to explain this without, like it's accurate, right? But it's just like something about it is like, it doesn't scream to me that it's a $28 figure. That's basically it. But anyways, the upside is that you don't have to remove the head sculpt, so you can just pop the helmet on top. So it's kind of like, again, Frag Viper, utilizing that same concept of taking the helmet, putting it on top of the figure without you having to switch back and forth, which is really cool. They got his head sculpt looking pretty close too. Yeah. And we should also be happy that at least they gave us an alternate head sculpt, or like they gave us an unmasked head sculpt, because I know a lot of people were saying like they want barbecue to have an unmasked head sculpt, even though Barbecue is like the Cobra Island version, and that's literally like 110% to the T to the original Barbecue. It's just that he doesn't have an alternate head sculpt, so very unfortunate for him. But at least Airtight has that concept of putting the helmet over his head, which is cool. Derek Hallman says, I was never a fan of Airtight sail figure. Liquid says Airtight goes where most soldiers would be crazy to, radiation and biological and chemical agents. Yeah, that's what does make him badass. Whiskey says, so glad they added a head sculpt. Wish they would have done this with Barbecue. Oh, there you go. Definite buy for me, says Kubaz. Yep. Russell says, from your earlier video, I would like to see more dry brushing on the backpack. Yep, 100%. There you go. OG Airtight, no paint on any weapons or backpacks. I mean, the weapons, fine. At least they're black. It's not like, good. Thank goodness they didn't do like some type of hideous green color. But I mean, you guys tell me. Look at the backpack. Like, yes, it does look accurate, but doesn't the backpack look cheap though? Right? Doesn't it look cheap? It feels cheap to me. So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't want to spend $28 for a figure that they did a really great job on. And I know that's kind of contradicting it, but you know, it is what it is. I do like Airtight's head sculpt, but I'm just not a huge fan of the crazier colors on Joe's light dub. Well, the thing is that Airtight is an essential character in the sense of, you know, if you grew up watching the cartoon, you know that Airtight was always there, and especially if you have the OG, you know, not like the original 13, but like if you are someone that had these characters back in the 80s, and obviously you would have an attachment to it, so. He's Hydra Bob. That's who he's reminding me of. Most backpacks are lackluster. Mr. Sampson says the backpacks have always been lack of paint apps to make them pop. Yep. A. Romo says it looks like Dookie. All right. Anyways, all right. So that's Airtight. A lot of people are most likely going to get them anyway, so that's fine. Pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So good luck to all of you who are going to want to get this figure. All right, next we have my favorite figure, or at least favorite figure in the wave. We have Hydro Viper. This figure looks really good. I'm actually happy with this one. Purple's fine, red's fine, flipper's fine. It's just that manta ray completely sucks. Very unfortunate that the manta ray is just like a dud pancake. Otherwise, the head sculpt of this Hydro Viper, really, really cool. Love the eyes. The mask is obviously sick as well. Obviously, it's one of those things where you put him underwater and you see this vibrant ass, you know, purplish red dude there, and you're like, what the hell? But at least if you were to see this underwater and you see that mask, you'd be like, holy shit. Ionic Blood says, dope. Light says, I totally grew up watching the cartoon and never liked Airtight. Oh, man. Joshua says, to be fair, I think Airtight is supposed to look like a hazmat. He wouldn't be front line. That's true. Too Bad Basis says, cool, but pass. Zedburn says, Airtight was smug. Phil says, definitely a buy. Super Tortoise says, nice monster shoes, easy pass. Gunpowder Nitro says, yes, hands down the best release so far. Robert says, pass, you didn't trick me into this one, Shark. All good, man. I mean, it's supposed to be an army builder, so it's fine, because he's like an upper ranking of an eel, I believe, as the bio says from the classified version of it, so that's cool. Misfit says, Manta Ray, no paint unless underside. Yeah, I mean, actually, there is paint on the underside of it. It's like beigeish color for those who have seen from Toy Fair. It has like, was it Toy Fair, or I don't know. One of the product shots showcases like a beige color scheme underneath, so I guess that's kind of fine. When did the O-ring come out? I don't remember. Says Russell Terrell. Alan Balcom says, I'll take 8 to 10, please. Manta sucks, though. Nothing different. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of sad because even if you looked at the Toy Fair display, they just, just plopped it right on the table. Like, I understand, like, how a manta ray swims, but they could have at least had some type of articulation by the sides, you know, or even do a mechanical manta ray. I don't even know. Hydro Viper makes me excited for Undertow. Oh my god, Undertow. Yeah, Undertow is a sick one. I know that Undertow has the green and red color scheme, but I would prefer the blue version from like the 2000s 2-pack. That's my favorite Undertow. I'm not really a fan of the red and green version, but I know a lot of you probably have that one more. A Romo says looks clean and the mask and fins go with it. Yep. The mask is dope. I agree. Misfit says feet look a little darker red in between the toes. I mean, I hope not. I'm sure it's all in the unison of the same color red. Otherwise, that would suck. Definitely pre-order. May get some army builders if I see them on sale later, says Joshua. Yep. Whiskey Tango says everything is awesome except for the cheap-ass manta ray. I agree. Travis says yes, yes, yes on Hydro Viper. Frank Pryor says need 5. 5 is a good number. Lidub says could have used black toenails, alternate heads, and more details. I mean, this is one of those instances where this could have easily been a retro carded just because it looks exactly like the original O-ring. I would have preferred like this crazy rigorous new design to him, which would have made a little bit of an ideal, but it's a mainline release, so pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is he wearing Dorothy's red slippers? No, he's wearing Vans, actually. He's wearing red Vans. Bring on the Cobra C-Ray. Oh, C-Ray, yeah. Josh Figs, what's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Scott Mora says Hydro Viper was 1988. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Misfit, as well. It says 1988. Zed Burn says it is off-putting to see a detailed backpack weapons with no paint apps on it. Yeah. All right, so that is Hydro Viper. We can all agree that this is probably the highlight of the wave, at least for most of us. The Manta Ray sucks, but everything else is fine. But going back to the backpack real quick, or like the tanks, they could have at least put the gauges like white, some silver, some reds. It's just like all black. That's like my only gripe about Classified is when you have a blown up version of a 3-inch figure, you have the liberty to create more colors, more vibrant details, but now they're literally just taking the 3-inch figure and just blowing it up to a 6-inch scale, but giving us the exact same detail that the 3-inch figure once had. My only complaint would be if you have the money for it, you take the 3-inch version, blow it up to a 6-inch scale, but now you were allowed to see more colors and more details and more designs and more like, I don't know, something. But I feel like the Hasbro team is like kind of taking us a run for our money because they're just like, oh, we know you want the original O-ring style figure, so here it is and take it for what it is. So that's like my biggest gripe about a lot of these figures in the past year. So otherwise, good figure though. I love it. It's still Hydro Viper. He's one of my favorites. We're getting close to dinosaurs, guys, so hold on. All right, up next, we have Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack. I believe this one might be a Amazon. I don't know, but, well, there's no information just yet, but I'm guessing it's an Amazon. But this 2-pack is not up for pre-order tomorrow, so don't be scared or anything. But what are your thoughts on Taurus and Red Dog? I'm going to have to learn how to do some paint apps myself in this wave. Hell yes, says Paul. Should have made the Manta Ray bigger. Yes, I agree. No red holsters have given a good pop. I agree, said Burns. The Lonius Monk says Classified needs to have Monster Force details. That's true. Was it Norman? Hopefully I said that right. Norman Bulio says, remember when they gave us, I think this is your first time here in the chat. Remember when they gave us all the paint details in the backpacks, like on Firefly version 1, Pepperidge Farms remembers. You mean the Cobra Island Firefly? Definitely all in. Definitely pick up. Pass, but I'll pick it up when it drops in price, as DC. Had they not messed up the Slaughter 2-pack, I would have been down for this. What did they mess up, Robert? What is it that they messed up that you didn't like? Zed Burn says, damn, Taurus is small. Phil says, Red Dog is great, but Taurus is definitely a lacking. Alan says, what Hasbro did with the crocodile, the warthog, timber, and other canine figures, because they couldn't do anything with the manta. Exactly. I agree. Joe Bits Toys, welcome to the chat. He says, so many bits. Hell yeah. The football is fetch. Still wish Taurus was taller and more bulky. So somebody mentioned to me in my previous video that Lenny said the reason why Taurus is in this specific physique is because he's an acrobat. So acrobats are supposed to be like slimmer and like muscular, but also slimmer, because they have to do all the crazy fancy high fly like flipping and stuff like that. So I 100% get that. Like that makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm okay with that logic, which is fine. But if you watch the 87 movie and see the introduction of Taurus just looked badass. And on top of that, I think he was the figure, or he was the character that Falcon flipped. Like, I think Taurus had him in a headlock and then Falcon just flipped him over. So if Taurus and I know it's a cartoon, but if Taurus can look that bulky and muscular in that animated movie and still do a high flying flip, then I think they could have just do that with this. But again, I totally and 100% understand where they were going with this, in the sense of making him like a slimmer physique, so he's an acrobat. But you know, I still would have just preferred a beefier Taurus. That's basically it. Joshua says, yep, Lenny did say that. Okay. Zed Burn says Mercer and Taurus both needed to be bigger. I didn't see any Mercer reviews, unfortunately, so I got to see how that's going to turn out. They couldn't do nothing with the manta, but we got a dinosaur. Oh shit, gunpowders. We're getting to the dinosaurs. Hang in there. Taurus arms are horrible though, says Timothy. Jobit says a Turkish acrobat at that. Bill says, nah, they made him skinnier to save money. So I don't know if you guys agree, but who said that? Phil says they made him skinnier to save money. Do you agree or disagree? Liquid Identity says Sarge is good, Mercer is good. These two clowns can stay in the circus. Damn, Liquid Identity taking some harsh hits with this. Sarge, oh, I just read that. The scale is better in the videos than the render, says Misfit. Okay. I bet Sergeant Slaughter has it in his contract to be the biggest action figure. I mean, he's Sergeant Slaughter. It's fine. Too Bad Basis says, I bet Sergeant Slaughter... oh, I just read that. Zed Burn says, Sergeant Slaughter and the Renegades were all big wrestler-looking guys. Yeah. Alan says, I wonder if he could kit bash bigger arms on Taurus. Norman says, Taurus, if you take off his shoulder pads, he looks like my uncle in a yellow t-shirt. They'll make bigger one 2 years from now. It's possible. Yeah. I could see that. Or do you guys think that they would create a 3-pack in the future? I mean, I don't know what they would really do, but would you be down for an actual 3-pack, like a re-release? Because what if they do like a anniversary for the 87 movie? I don't know, some kind of like 40th anniversary for the, I guess 40 years? I don't remember. For the movie, and then like here's a 3-pack of them. Whiskey says, I am wondering if you can replace his arms with Outback's arms and paint the sleeves yellow, if it would work. Oh, Outback. Oh, Outback has a good body. Yeah, Outback is definitely one of the best. Zedburn says, I would 3-pack retro style. I would be down for a 3-pack. And Misfit says, don't give them ideas. You're right. I shouldn't. A retro 3-pack. I mean, to be quite honest, I said this way before Mercer was even announced or released. I literally said if they were ever were to do the Renegades, it would have to be a 3-pack. Even if the price was crazy, at least a 3-pack would have just knocked out all 3 figures in one shot. Kind of like how they did the Cobra was it the Cold Slither 4-pack, but obviously 3, or even a 4-pack with Slaughter would have been sick and priced at the same as Cold Slither. I think that would have been insane, but obviously Cold Slither are just like 4 of the same characters wearing spandexes looking like Power Rangers, so it is what it is. Hasbro would never, says Ionic Blood. That'd be so Hasbro, says Zed. Thelonious Monk says, I know it's how they did it in the 80s, but it bothers me that damn near every Black Joe character has to wear a jersey. Doc, Roadblock, Stalker, Iceberg, and Shooters are the only ones that don't. I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, a lot of the hard hitters are not wearing the jerseys though, so that's cool. But he's saying that near every Black Joe character was wearing a jersey. So wait, so what if the other characters that are wearing the jerseys? Timothy James says, I disagree with Lenny. Most acrobats have pretty bulky arms, defined. Yeah, just look at WWE. Lidub says, I'm still getting ads. Oh man, I'm sorry. Norman says, it seems like for this wave, Hasbro is doing what they did for the vintage Snake Eyes back in the 80s, but they are minimizing the look and deco to save money. I 100% agree with you on that one. We can instantly, let's all be honest. We can literally look at all the first 4 or 5 waves of classified. Those details and designs compared to where we are now in classified is a night and day difference. Sure, the difference is the accuracy in regards to the original O-rings and like comics or cartoons and stuff, but when it comes to detail, though, I mean, some faces, don't get me wrong, are a lot better now than they were back then, like Pretty Boy Duke. But when it comes to some kind of, it gave you like a bang for your buck. Oh yeah, Red Dog. Red Dog is Samoan. Red Dog is Samoan, if I remember correctly. As a veteran, I'd like to see a drill sergeant or a drill instructor, not just Slaughter. I mean, they can probably create a new character. Marnus says, good evening, Shark. Ready for all the orders tomorrow? No, I'm not. Welcome, Marnus, to the chat. It's good to have you here, brother. Good to see you. All right, so that is Taurus and Red Dog. So no announcement for pre-orders just yet, but I'm sure we'll get to them at some point. So pretty cool. So we'll talk more about this at another time. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise Red Dog is fine. It's just we all know Taurus is Taurus. I know a lot of people were saying like, oh man, Taurus has an amazing beard. I'm like, do the arms and slim physique not like make it more different compared to his beard? But whatever. Jimmy So, welcome to the chat. All the way from where are you from? Was it? Hey Shark, how are you? It's good to see you, Jimmy So. Bro, I haven't seen you in a very long time, man. Alright, so now let's talk about 'cause the eyes of the ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you, 'cause that's where Sundown's gonna be. Hong Kong, there you go. The funny part is like, when I said Jimmy So, I was like, China? I was like, yeah, it's China, right? And then I was thinking of something else, but I was just like, no, I'm pretty sure it was China. So I had to quickly think about this real quickly, but Hong Kong, yeah, very nice. How are you, Jimmy So? It's good to see you, brother. Cowboy Sharks is Joshua. Oh my god. Oh man. I honestly really like this figure, says Phil. Stupidor says pass. Too Bad Basis says pass. Robert Wantland says yes. Norman says, is this a character from the comics or a completely new character? So this is basically a brand, quote-unquote, new character, but it's also heavily, I suppose, inspired by the Cops animated series. But that's kind of a stretch for the time being. But yes, it is a new character. And this is a bounty hunter. So according to what Lenny said at TOYFAIR, this guy is a bounty hunter and his brother was kidnapped by the character Headhunter. Therefore, he's now seeking revenge and wants to go find Headhunter somehow. Usual Mike, shout out to Usual Mike, amazing supporter. Usual Mike has been here on like all my channels for the past, I don't even know, 4 or 5 years now. So thank you so much, Usual Mike. He's been here since The Artist Shark. He's been here since SHARKNEWZ version 1. Thank you so much, Usual Mike. I'm so happy to have you here. All the way from Australia, by the way. So Usual Mike, I think he probably just woke up. Liquid Identity says, it's an okay figure, but not a G.I. Joe. Lenny's lore sucks. Ooh, Liquid Identity. Taking in shots at Lenny. Alan says, I like this figure. I wanted him to be Wild Bill, but happy with this new figure. I mean, if it was Wild Bill, they wouldn't have done like a mysterious silhouette. Subazor says, why did they keep him such a secret? He is junk. Ooh. I think it's just because it's a brand new. It's not like a legacy style figure. It's not like a, it's not like an anniversary figure. It's like a completely brand new like figure into the Joe line. Kind of like what's his name? Damn, what's his name? The Wolf Spider, and that Night Force Wolf Spider figure. Said Burn says, I seem to want to call him Sunbow. Sunbow would have been a really cool name. DC says, nope, passing on this one. Jobit's Toy says, Chuck Norris and classified from an automatic grail. Yes. Easily Chuck Norris custom for sure. Marnu says, Sundown came out so damn good. Did you see the file cards they did for him and Professor Rottclaw? I did see it, yeah. Gunpowder says, pass. It looks like Dave Navarro. A must buy for me, says Merging Line. Loneliest Monk says, pass on the cowboy, but the head sculpt reminds me of MK Scorpion. Oh, yeah. Chris Casamassa from WMEC Masters, who plays Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat 95 film. He does look like Chris Casamassa. Yeah. Very nice. Someone knows their Mortal Kombat. Good shit. See how excited I get for when I hear Mortal Kombat stuff? Ionic Blood says, getting it already on a horse. Yeah, like I said, we talked about this earlier, but Mythic Legion's horse, definitely a necessary thing. If this figure came with a horse, it probably would have been a little bit better, but whatever saves us money. Russell Terrell says, maybe. Joshua says, seriously, I love that they're doing some storytelling, world building with Classified. Scott Morris says, definitely getting, he's at a monkey wrench level of detail. Yeah, I will give them props that the detail is pretty good with this figure, so I like it. Definitely, okay, I just read that. Whiskey says, Outlaw Whales or Sharkdown. So there's like a tie between this head sculpt and Desert Scorpion, where I feel like it has very similar resemblances to me. Not 100%, but I'm sure it's there. Anyways, Sharkdown. That's a pretty cool character. I'd rather see this as a female figure character. A female Texas Ranger would be sick. Subazor says, worst figure of the year. Oh, damn. Robert says, also it means he will get Headhunter. Yeah, Headhunter was also the character that provided Lieutenant Falcon drugs, aka Spark, in the Deke series. This guy is good looking. Oh, Jimmy So with a very, very nice comment. This guy is good looking as you. Oh, thank you, man. Number 200, Wolf Spider made sense for the Joe. This Gringo does not. Ooh. Victor V55499. Welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. He says it's giving me Clint Eastwood vibes. Yeah, so this is one of those characters where, again, you don't have to really know the background story or need to consider like a G.I. Joe, but it's one of those things where, hey, it's a new character. You can just add it to your Joes. He's a cowboy, fine. I mean, if we can tolerate like Quick Kick, if we can tolerate, I don't know, like Wild Bill, like why not toss in like another cowboy, right? Um, oh yes, he does have a neck tattoo. That's right. There's a snake in my boot, says Ionic Blood. Getting a few of this one, says Melvin. Melving, sorry. Welcome to the. Did I say Melving? Were you here before? I don't remember. Karate Commandos. I want to be a cowboy, says Couch Boy. I don't care what you think, says Sundown will pair awesome with Wild Bill. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Although I don't see this guy flying in the Dragonfly, but still works. You're my favorite deputy, says DC. 49er says we better get a Headman and Headhunter. Dude, Headhunter Stormtroopers are one of the sickest looking characters ever, although they remind me of Star Wars Bucketheads. But for those who don't know the Headhunter Stormtroopers, I strongly recommend you Google those. Those figures look sick. I would buy a Headhunter Stormtrooper. Yeehaw, says Couch Boy. Lonius Monk says, yeah, Budo, Desert Scorpion, and this guy all look related. Couch Boy. What was it? Couch Boy says, Russell, maybe if you think quoted me. Norman says, unfortunately, now that they don't have a cartoon to launch characters from, so I don't think a lot of collectors are going to care. True. Whiskey Tango says, Mythic Legions, Necronominus, Bishop, $80 on Big Bad Toy Store. Ooh. They should call him Woody. So let me ask you guys in the chat. Do you think that because they created this brand new character that it pushes all your other more wanted figures like Flash and Grand Slam more in the back burner? Or do you guys think that this is a strategic plan from the G.I. Joe team? Because we do know that, we have a lot more dates coming soon, so I'm sure we'll see like a Flash and Grand Slam at some point. But obviously we still have like characters like Cross Country. We have, I don't know, so many other like original characters that still need to be made, even though there's not that many left. But do you feel like these type of characters could be one of those instances where, hey, like we don't want to give all the collectors like the essentials real quickly, so let's create all these new people and push some of the older ones back? Because I personally think that if the Hasbro team had already created like all our favorite characters, and if this was an instance where, like, can you guys just imagine, like, I don't know how many collectors here in the stream right now or ones that are going to watch later would agree with this, but do you feel like if the Joe team had already given us all our favorite characters right in the beginning, which they pretty much did, like 85 to 90% of them already are out there, and then they went into this era with the dinosaurs and then Sundown and all these other, like Wolf Spider and all this and that, do you think that the G.I. Joe classified line would have like an extreme decline, or people would still be invested? Because I feel like this is a strategic plan to have people still be invested in the line and have them wait for all their favorite characters rather than just give us everything that they want, because they know it's like, well, we know you guys want Flash, but you're going to have to wait like another year, 7 months for that guy. So here's a cowboy instead. And everyone's going to be like, ooh, cowboy, I'll buy it. Okay, let's see. The chat says it's a strategic plan. Hey, Romo, you just retracted your message. What did you say? Scott Morris says Sundown, Wild Bill, and Spirit would make a cool scene. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about Spirit. Yo, this guy in Spirit would be sick. Oh man, yo, Spirit is literally in my top 3 favorite classified figures, so I think Spirit and Sundown would make a great tag team. Yeah. Holy shit, that's good stuff. This is part of a most plans plan mostly, definitely, says Robert. Liedub says, we love Shipwreck and wasn't a Joe either. Shipwreck quick kick among those originally not even Joes. I love the character detail, looks good, but nah, I'll get one, but no rush, says Tagworm. Wilfredo says, I can't wait to add him to my collection. He's a Mexican too, says Wilfredo. Nice. I believe his real name was Esteban. Was it Esteban? I could be wrong. A. Romo says Sundown could be a sleeper figure. Oh, he's asking. Could be a sleeper figure. Joe Bit says, y'all don't realize we are getting horses and yellow and blue Wild Bill by 2028. Maybe a third Spirit Iron. Ooh. Imagine if they do horses. But 2028 is way too long. Spirit Knife. Norman says they are trying to add the universe and give this line more longevity. I agree. Alan says no, they need to come out with the OGs and finish out 85 to 89 figures we are all wanting. It doesn't push them back any more than something the Force Zartan does. There can be room for occasional new characters, in my opinion, says Marnews. Couchboy says, one new dude shows up, we're all tripping over ourselves. Hama did 15 people a year. Part of the plan, they don't want people leaving after 2 waves. I agree. Victor says, where did Victor go? Oh shoot, where did Victor's comment go? Damn it. Wow, my Victor, where'd your comment go? William Hussett, welcome to the chat, says a companion for Cowboy Odious. Robert says, I would have been super picky earlier. Liedub says, oh, and I just read that. Lonius Monk says, Hasbro can't stick to the OG figures. They need to introduce newer and newer figures. Yeah, which is fine. I don't mind having new figures. Russell says, just give me Flash and Grand Slam and I'm good. From then, I'll pick and choose. Oh, Victor, there you go. It says, been here, just took a break for a while, been a fan from your beginning channel. You always have the best G.I. Joe content. Thank you so much, Victor. Is it Victory or Victor? Victory. Thank you so much, man. I do appreciate that. Shout out to Victor for that really awesome comment. He's been here for a while now and says, I have the best G.I. Joe content. Although I don't think I have the best G.I. Joe content by any means, but thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Victor. Liquid Identity says no problem with new characters, but this guy is boring. This William says GI would make a great horse. By the way, how are we doing on likes? Oh shit, we're at 67 likes. Tonight's stream goal was 70. Alright, you guys, give me 4 more and we're good. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. I totally forgot about the likes. Is this a tease for the next HasLab, a stage coach? Oh, no, I don't think so. Jimmy So says, honestly, I think this is a strategy is good. I like having a toy line that I can keep buying from. I don't want it to die. Yeah, dude, nobody wants G.I. Joe to die. G.I. Joe is one of the sickest, like, brands ever, and it's awesome. I hope G.I. Joe Classified stays for a very long time. It's just, I just want the designs to look really good. This line isn't just for OG collectors. Bring out the creativity and expand for the world. There's more to than just Cobra, Joe's, Dreads. Yeah, I agree. Russell says some of the other content creators don't interact like you do. Well, that's true because my live streams are a way for me to interact with you guys on a personal basis. So that's why it's hard for me to respond and type comments on every video that I do for SHARKNEWZ, but the live streams helps me, you know, have like more of an intimate conversation with you guys. Whiskey says, I thought this was going to be a new Joe from the comics, Downrange. Oh, you know, I would have loved to see Downrange and RC, even though they're like, what is it? What's her name? It's basically like the sniper character and Tripwire, but still, I don't think it would have been a bad idea. Yeah, he should have. Yeah, you're absolutely right, NorCal. I think it's your first time here in the chat. He definitely should have come with a dog. I agree. They, okay. A lot of people don't want to sit around and wait for a main character while they push out 90 stuff and have zero interest. That's true. Robert says my time ended in 88 and I have to picked up several characters for Army. Okay. So I guess we can say that this guy is more of a pick and choose. So he's kind of like a balance. He's like right in the middle of people wanting this character and not wanting it. So otherwise, I'm always welcome for new characters, just as long as they look good. So that is Sundown. Welcome to the team, Sundown. Hopefully this guy finds his brother. Anyway, so up next we have Zanya. Zanya. So, like I said in before in my other videos, I like calling her Zanya, but I guess it's Zanya now, so whatever. What do you guys think of this character? Buy, not buy? Are you a fan of the Chameleon, aka Swamp Skier? How are we going about this? Robert says, Shark taught me I have even army... What? Until Shark taught me and I have even army build a few. Oh, man. Crankcake's bandana and he's robbing trains. Ooh, a train robber would be a sick character. Robert says Shark has the best streams. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. The loneliest amongst the Sharks live streams and chats ragdoll the other streamers. Oh, well, thank you, man. That's very nice of you to say. Ragdoll. Tomato, says Russell Terrell. Her face looked better in person. Ionic says, digging it. The digital render was better. Not a big fan. Yeah, I could see. So I know somebody in one of my comments said that what does she do? She looks exactly like how she did in the comics, but you guys have to see it in the vision that I do. If you look at the comics, like, yes, she does have that design from the comics, but at the same time, it also looks like, I don't know how to I don't know how to explain this. It just seems like, damn, I don't know how to even explain this. Damn, I really don't know how to explain this. Subazor, okay, interesting comment, Subazor. It is an action figure, though. 100% bias, says Moreno. Zedburn says, I'll get this. A swamp skier for Zartan. I find it extremely funny how at the moment people started saying that Shark is the best channel on here, I dipped. I lost like 30 viewers. Thank you for all of you who are still here on the chat. I appreciate that. That means the people who left were probably not so much the best supporters, I suppose. Your live streams always rock. I like the way how you interact with everyone, and everyone on the stream respectfully keeps the amazing work. Yes, without you guys who are on the night's chats or even in general of the chats, thank you guys for keeping it very mature. Thank you for not making it any drama, no negativity. We talk about the figures, and that's how we keep the streams rolling. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys make the streams fun, so I appreciate that. It's not me. I'm just a host. You guys are doing it. She looks dead, says... Who said that? Says Phil. I don't care what you think, says I will get one, but if it didn't come with a named character, I would have army build a swamp skier. Yeah, that was very strategic, man. The fact that they know that the swamp skier probably would have been army building for the Dreadnoks, but then they're like, oh, but because if they had released Zanya by herself, she would have easily been a peg warmer, which, as much as I love Zanya as a character, she would have easily been a peg warmer, but tossing this character with a bunch of swamp skiers was like, that's clever ass marketing, bro. They were like, man, we got to get rid of this figure fast. So, because if you want to like army build the swamp skiers for all your Dreadnoks, but then you're like, oh, now I got to have like 50 I got to have like 8 Zanya figures. And then, you know, that's wild, man. And plus, we don't know the price of this. Do you guys think this will be the $60 price point? Or no? I mean, she doesn't seem like I would say she's like $55, maybe at most 50 with inflation, somewhere around there. How much? $65. Yeah, because we do remember there is a $60 figure somewhere here, so we have to figure out which one is the $60 one. It's one of those things where like her outfit needed to have like, I mean, it does have the net arms, like I don't know what you call it, what they call it, but it needed to be more like ripped, I guess. The t-shirt needed to be more like loose on, I guess, and the pants needed to be more like baggier to kind of give it more like a hot topic style feel to the pants, not like more tightly fit. She kind of had like this rigorous look because in a certain issue, there's a comic book of her where she's on the cover of it and she's on like one knee. If you compare that specific concept of that figure and then you look at this, then you're just like fishnet. Thank you, Lonius Monk. This figure looks a little bit underwhelming. You know what I mean? So even though she does have the right outfit, it's just it doesn't pop the way the comic is drawn. That's basically what I'm getting at. Needs better weapons, says Ionic Blood. Zed Burns. Would this compare to the scrap iron with drone? I don't think so. Jimmy So says, I love your streams. A lot of other streams I just fast forward, but it's 11 a.m. here in Hong Kong, so usually hard for me to watch your streams live. Oh, no problem. I appreciate you even watching all the way from Hong Kong at 11 a.m. Thank you so much. And the fact that you don't fast forward my streams. I appreciate that. I mean, it is live, but still, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jimmy So. Very kind of you. First of all, shout out to Jimmy So all the way from Hong Kong, man. Amazing. Honda Lu, West should have came now. We need to have a Shipwreck and Mara 2-pack. Or Mara, whatever. I don't mind the copperhead weapons, but the goggles and glasses just make her look goofy. Yeah, at Toy Fair, she was displayed on the swamp skier wearing the glasses, and it just looked a little bit off. Didn't really have that much of a appeal to it. And then obviously the mask or the helmet, fine, like, or the mask, the helmet is fine and whatever, but I don't know. I'm so conflicted because I really loved the Zanya character that I saw in the comics. It's just the toy just doesn't justify it, unfortunately. And that's just my personal opinion. If you like it, cool. Jamar Malari. It's 11 a.m. in Philippines. Shout out to Jamar Malari, all the way from the Philippines. Amazing. We got Hong Kong and Philippines in the chat tonight. Amazing. And then we have John Brooks from Ireland. Shit. It's international streams here tonight. George Rodriguez, welcome to the chat. I believe it's your first time here. He says, love all the new characters. Look great. Shout out to you, Shark, and all the G.I. Joe collectors. Well, shout out to you, George. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. We definitely need a heart wrencher for sure. Couch Boy says, I love her Jason mask, not just because of my name is Jason or because it was on Friday the 13th. The thing is, the mask is not removable, which is fine. So it's an alternate head sculpt, if I remember correctly. So you have to swap out this head and you have to put that mask on. So I guess it's fine because her hair is supposed to be like in the braids. So it's going to be a bit harder for her to, put on the mask anyway over it without having the rubber like break. So I guess that makes sense. Oh yeah, I forgot. And we got usual. Okay, hold on. We have John Brooks from Ireland. We have Usual Mike from Australia. We have Jimmy So from Hong Kong, and then we have Jamara all the way from Philippines. Amazing! Look at that. SHARKNEWZ has gone international tonight. I feel like Hector Ramirez right now. All right, so otherwise, I think Zanya is a fine figure. Otherwise, yeah, the Swamp Skier is fine. Color, whatever, it's cool. All right. How are we doing on likes? Okay. Are we ready for the main event? I mean, we still have a lot more, don't get me wrong, but are we ready for the one figure that you guys have all been waiting for? The one that you've all been waiting for. I mean, don't forget, we still have to talk about the Royal Guard, which will be at the end, but we have 86 likes right now. Let's get to 90. You think we can do 90 likes? For those who haven't liked the video yet, please go ahead. Let's hit 90 right now. Let's hit 90, folks. We got this. All right. So, the moment we've all been waiting for. Welcome to Jurassic GI Park. Oh, man. We have Professor Ian Malcolm, a.k.a. Professor Rottclaw. So, according to the bio of this specific character, Professor Rottclaw was, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, he was a rich kid who had a fascination with paleontology. He's basically Ross from Friends. And then I guess he was too obsessed with dinosaurs to the point where he got kicked out of the university or something. And then he realized that because he didn't have funding for his experiments or funding for his paleontology, whatever, he realized that Cobra was the only one who had the financial means to fund his projects, which basically wanted him to be, because he was really obsessed with dinosaurs. So now he became part of Cobra, and then they helped with his research or funded and gave him money and shit. And then he worked with Dr. Mindbender to create a supposed Velociraptor. So here we are. Let me read the comments real quickly. Robert says, Canada. Okay, we got Canada too. GI Jurassic. Let's go, says Robert Wantland. Tagworm says it would be priced a Duke and Ram Cycle. Dinobots, I mean Dino Joes. T-Blade, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. He said, let's go. Come on, everyone. Go for Shark. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Welcome, T-Blade. It's good to see you, brother. First time here, I believe. Whiskey says, gonna name my raptor Blue. That's a good one. It's dino time. It's morphin time, man. I'm on the moon, says Couchboy. Oh, yeah, you are on the moon. I forgot. I remember you told me that before. Do I have Exo Squad? I do not. Chris Bouchard. I will get it at some point. Joe Bit says, LOL, give me 2 and I will give away the dinosaurs. Ooh, Chris Pratt, says Norman. Alan says, it might be hard if the 30 that dropped out while we were sending you praises dropped out while hitting the like. Yeah. Hasbro spreads no expenses. Look for GI Mark. We would have hit 90, but 30 people bounced. Yes, unfortunately. I'm sure there's other streamers going on around here too, so it's totally fine. This is a stretch. Turok says, Ionic Blood says Turok. Cool. Yeah. Woody Woodman, welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. He says, this one blows. I don't care what you think, says that's a really hard pass. They should make the dinosaurs mechanical like a full Velociraptor robot. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. I really like the Rottclaw and Paleo, really. But I don't care about the dinos, probably about buy one or proof of 2 Vipers. Gonna need 4 of those raptors. My Joes are going to be in hell, says Tagworm. Tattoos, and George says, I already have a bunch of Hammond collection dinos. This is a no-brainer. Couchboy says, Resolute. Whiskey says, does the Rottclaw not look like Mad Max guy from Weird Science movie? Yes, he does. Ionic Blood says, I like the human, but no, dino's a no. Norman says, I guess mommy and daddy didn't want him playing with dinosaurs, so they didn't give him the cash. Yes. T-Blade says, the figure looks good, the story is good, and honestly, I can see Cobra doing a lot, so I'm all in for at least 3. That's a good number. Because you do have to remember, for those that are not interested in this figure, that this is a army builder. because this is Professor Rottclaw, but that additional head sculpt that he comes with is actually a Paleo Viper. Therefore, you have Rottclaw, who is the master of velociraptors or master of dino training. And then you have the Paleo Vipers, who will probably be like the jobbers in the background, who have all the, who have all the backings. So basically, it's like you have the Paleo Vipers in the front, then you have the Raptors in the back, and then you have Rottclaw in the back, I guess. So that might work. Couchboy says, I truly love all your comments every time. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Joshua says, it takes guts to face paint a carnivorous dinosaur. Scott Morris says, I don't mind this kit, but if they make a Triceratops and T-Rex instead of a polar battle bear and Thunder Machine, I'd be pissed. That's funny. Tagworm says, a couple of my Joes will die off. Dude, these dinosaurs would easily kill off Joes, man. No brainer. Nice, but I want a vehicle. Says David Ford 143. Welcome to the chat. I believe this is your first time here. Welcome, welcome. So one of the things about this dinosaur is that it comes with a very cheap looking mechanical silver faceplate kind of thing. Like someone said in the comments earlier, I wished that it would have came with a more robotic looking head sculpt. Even though it's supposed to be slightly robotic, it looks like it, but it's way too silvery. Which, again, the silver is fine. It's just I want it to look a little bit more mechanically engineered, I guess. Or maybe it is, and I can't tell from this photo. So it's kind of, it is what it is. But the thing that we have to understand about this specific character, because I know a lot of people are passing on dinosaurs, and I read a lot of actually interesting comments on my previous video where, people are saying, people are upset or pissed about this dinosaur or this specific character, or don't necessarily want, they don't want dinosaurs in G.I. Joe. But if you guys know G.I. Joe to an extent, you would know that they created dinosaurs part of G.I. Joe back in the day, which didn't do so well to an extent, but dinosaurs are nothing new in G.I. Joe. And then on top of that, you have to remember that if you think dinosaurs are so far-fetched, you have to remember that their Cobra Law also exists with all those crustaceans and insects. And then there's also Quick Kick, who's a ninja who runs around with barefoot without a shirt. Then you have a guy like Cesspool, who has a breathing problem. You have Fatal Fluffies, who are these giant-looking, once cute-looking dudes that look this buffalo beast things. Then you have, I don't know, like, if you watch the G.I. Joe... Okay, another thing is if you watch the G.I. Joe cartoon, the G.I. Joes in that cartoon, in the original animated series, they fought so much weird shit in that cartoon, like giant-ass tomatoes, giant-ass insects, and one of their biggest enemies in the entire series was the Window Viper. I mean, come on. So the Joes have, really... been through some crazy shit. So for people to be upset about a dinosaur being in G.I. Joe Classified is kind of a stretch, because you would have to understand that G.I. Joe has always been, I know that people want the original 13, they want the grounded look of G.I. Joe, they want the military, because a lot of people are in the chat are probably in the military too, so they want a more realistic approach of action figures, which are fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you've seen the cartoon or even read some of the comics and stuff, or even just looked at what Hasbro has released for G.I. Joe, we got space people, we got Toxo Vipers, we even got I don't know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know, cybernetic dudes that look like Frag Viper. Oh, hold on, someone did a channel donation. Shout out to Tagworm for the $5. Thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate that. For some reason, it's not letting me give the shark heart, but thank you for the $5, man. That is, and thank you to all the channel donations for tonight. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you, thank you. It won't let me heart it. Can I heart this? Oh, no, it won't let me heart it. I think it's because it has like an emoji to it. But thank you so much, Tagworm, man. I appreciate that, brother. Um, so yeah, I mean, think about it. So that's why G.I. Joe and this far-fetched fantasy is really, to be quite honest, it's nothing new. And think about it. Shipwreck even fell in love with a mermaid, right? A cobra mermaid, Mara. So, or Mara, whatever the hell her name was. And on top of that, Dr. Mindbender dug, who is it? Like all those, dug the DNA of all those famous people to create Serpentor. I mean, yeah, as Norman and Ionic Blood and all those people are saying, like, yeah, like technically, G.I. Joe was always not, or I shouldn't say always, but G.I. Joe mostly had a lot of crazy ass ideas back in the day. So this is literally nothing new, which why I feel like a lot of people who are hating on it, like, it's okay if you don't like it. I totally respect your decision. But it's just one of those things where, and think about it, you also have Dr. Mindbender who has a freaking, who's wearing a thong with a strap and his nipples are showing. And that dude's like shirtless, and he's a freaking dentist. So think about it. There's all these crazy kooky G.I. Joe characters, and then people are getting upset about a dinosaur. So it's okay. You don't have to like the dinosaur. But you know, it's just one of those things where you also have to know back of the source material that this is kind of how it is. So I personally think that this is a pretty cool character. I actually like the dinosaur. I'm a big fan of Jurassic Park, so I'm okay with it. I don't like Rottclaw's pants though. I mentioned in my SHARKNEWZ video that I wanted his boots to be tucked in, so maybe I'll do like a swap or something. But and think about it, Cobra Commander even had one episode where he took all of Dr. Destro's money, and the whole entire episode was him carving his face on the moon. That was, when people say like the G.I. Joe animated series was the greatest thing ever, you had to watch a whole 30-minute episode to see Cobra Commander use a laser to carve himself on the moon, and Destro was pissed. And then you had to wait till the next episode. So that, like, it's just mind-boggling how people can be so upset about a dinosaur but not realize, like, the cartoon even had its fair share of crazy shit. By the way, people, we are at 96 likes. Let's go broke for 100. Can we do 100 likes on tonight's stream? I think we can do it. Craig Wagner says, "Hey Shark, been a while. Probably don't remember me. Seen you were live and had some time to get on." Dude, Craig Wagner, how could I forget Craig Wagner? You were one of the most gracious subscribers who sent me those G.I. Joe figures as well from back on the Artist Shark channel. I think it was the Spy Troops or Valor versus Venom 2-packs, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's you, but how could I forget Craig Wagner, bro? Trust me, I look at all my subscribers as people who are very important people. I don't just look at you people as just people like subscribers. You guys are like, your names are embedded in my brain. So I remember. That's why I do live streams, because I have conversations with you guys. You guys are pivotal assets to the channel. You're not just subscribers. You're not just people who are like people giving me views. You are people who are friends that I can interact with. So I appreciate spending your nights with me. So he says, "Yes, sir," entire force. If we get a Iron Grenadier Destro hostage and a Despoiler, I'm gonna be mad. But I think the Despoiler would be great. Norman says, "What do you mean, you people? What? Who people? What people?" Let's see. Oh shit, shout out to everybody here in tonight's chat. We officially hit 104 likes on tonight's stream. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, this is Alan says this is what I love about Shark. He remembers his followers. This I do. I'm gonna name him Blue. Says Stinky Sean. Welcome to the chat, Stinky Sean. It's good to see you. NorCal says I wish we could get an old school adventure team. Joe Colton with the fuzzy hair combined with an abominable snowband in a 2-pack. That would be crazy. But Craig Wagner, which Tiger Force? I don't remember. Tiger Force? Which, yeah, you're gonna have to remind me of the Tiger Force one because you know I loved those Valor versus Venom 2-packs. I deeply apologize, man. Like that was one of the coolest unboxing videos that I did. Craig Wagner sent me, I think it was 5 2-packs or 6 2-packs from the old Valor versus Venom, and I unboxed them on the old Artist Shark channel. And dude, I loved all those figures, man. That was awesome to have the Duke and Venomous Maximus 2-pack. That was amazing figures, man. Oh my god, think about it. If people are not so happy about Rottclaw, can you imagine all the people that aren't going to be happy about Venomous Maximus? Do people even know who Venomous Maximus is? Imagine we get Venomous Maximus. That'd be great. Robert Watland wants Quinn. Still need Quinn. How would you guys want Quinn to be though? Would you want Quinn to be just a solo figure? Would you want Quinn to come with like a wolf or something? I mean, Quinn was a pretty badass character. I need someone to fact check me on this. Quinn came, what was it, issue 2 or something? Lidub says Shark legit forgets me every time. How could I forget Lidub, bro? I remember your name. Quinn was a really badass character because he like I remember Snake Eyes was in that issue, and I forgot who the other 4 was. Scarlet, I think, but yeah. So he basically outsmoked Snake Eyes with a grenade, and yeah. So he was always like one step ahead of the Joes, which I thought was really interesting and funny in that issue. Whiskey says Quinn in a sled and dogs. Oh, I mean, that would be interesting. Tagworm says, I never liked the dude Venomous Maximus. Dr. Venom 2-pack. Oh, that would be interesting. I want him with multiple dogs and a sled but highly unlikely, says Phil. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine a sled with, a sled with Quinn. Yeah, that could work. But like in regards to Rottclaw though, do you guys feel like, I mean, what is it about it that you don't necessarily, I mean, like, are you guys just not like a dinosaur people, or is the character just too new to the point where you're just like, I don't want new characters? Or does it take away from the grounded reality of what G.I. Joe was in your mind in terms of you're staying focused on the original 13 or just the military figures, or is this too far-fetched for you guys, for most of you who don't want this figure? Because I personally love it, because this is one of those characters where for me, if you remember like your imagination when you were a little kid back in the 80s and 90s, having this type of specific character is like one of those things where you just mix and match whatever. You know what I mean? Like you just, like if you picture yourself back when you were a little kid and you have your Joes, but then you have this specific character come out of nowhere in that same 3 in scale, you would be like, I don't care if this is a Joe or not. I don't care if it's a Leonard corpse figure. I don't even care if it's a knockoff figure. I would still induct these, like those space figures that were from, I don't know what they were called as well. But like you just add them into your collection, and you're just like, okay, it's a new character. He's a beast. Why not? So I think that's what makes it exciting for me, because I actually like this figure a lot. Jobit's Toys with the $2 says Dino Tax. Thank you so much. This will definitely help me in my paleontology expedition with Dr. Malcolm uh, and Alan Grant. So I appreciate that. Those $2 are gonna help me in my digging fund for a shark fossil. I appreciate that. Lidub says, I love the new characters. I'm the guy not into the insane colors, but I appreciate them all because they keep the line growing. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Zedburn says, I think it works with. Yep. I don't care what you think says, here is one for you, Shark, the short-lived G.I. Joe Sergeant Savage and his Screaming Eagles. That's actually really cool. So Sergeant Savage alongside the G.I. Joe Extreme characters, that would be really, really sick. I would like that. Joe Bits says 100 likes. Yeah, dude, I really... Okay, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat for helping me reach the 100 likes on tonight's stream. Thank you guys so much for that. Liquid says, I love Desert Scorpion, but I could have lived without the Scorpion. Well, the Scorpion is definitely a lot better than the original O-ring one, I'll give you that. The same I used to do with my characters. Rottclaw, they were mind-controlled dinos. And think about it. Even as, like... How do I put this? I mean, I don't know what else you guys collected back in the day. You know, like, let's say you were collecting, like, Thundercats. Let's say you were collecting, I don't know, Visionaries, Silverhawks, or, because I know a lot of you are 80s kids, or even 90s for that matter. So then there's all these other amazing shows in the 90s. You know, it's not so often that everybody was able to have every single figure from every single brand, or even Ninja Turtles, right? When you had your Ninja Turtles, if you had like another character from a different brand, you would just bring that in and play with them and beat the shit out of your turtles. So I feel like this character, or even in 2026, this kind of pays the same homage to that. So I feel like over the time and over the years, we kind of lost our way because we want things to be like strictly for G.I. Joe, where it's like, unless it looks military, unless it has the tactical vest, unless it has the camo pants, then that's what makes me become a G.I. Joe fan. But, you know, back then when we were kids, our imagination fueled us as collectors, mixing, matching different brands all put together. That's what made us become collectors. That's what made us enjoy collecting, is when we had like different storylines with different brands and stuff. So that's what I love. Oh shit. Lied up with the $2 says hot shit click Honda Loose Satin Amber Mara pack. Don't forget who is the what's her name? The lady the lady Strato Viper. I forgot her name. Thank you so much, Lidub. I'm gonna add the that extra girl in there. I forgot her name. Someone help me out. But thank you so much for those $2. I appreciate that, brother. See, I do remember you. I had the Army build of Scorpion, was the Insectoid toy line. That too. Voltron, yes, Voltron too. Yeah. I mean, tell me, would you mix and match Voltron with your Transformers? I'm sure most of us did. Power Rangers with Voltron and Transformers. I'm sure we all like mixed and match a lot of things. Flaming Crow says, I'm on my way home from work listening and wanted to say, hey, Shark. Welcome, Flaming Crow. Flaming Crow has been a great supporter on the Artist Shark channel for the past like 3 or 4 years. So thank you, Flaming Crow, for joining in on tonight's stream, even though you're on your way back home from work. Joshua says, are you going to do a stream on the TMNT Joe crossover? Probably not. Just because they look really cool, but I don't really have much to say about it. It's awesome. I love them, but that's pretty much it. All right. So anyway, so let's go. So that is Dr. or Professor Rottclaw, and based on everyone's comments, I guess he's roughly a pass. Raven, thank you, Tagworm. Raven. There you go. I appreciate that. So with Lidub's $2, I'm adding the female Raven because he says Honda Lou, Satin, Amber, and Mara. So toss in Raven in there, and then it's a deal with those $2. All right, so that is Professor Rottclaw with the dinosaur. So I guess we can all agree that this was a pretty interesting ordeal to have in the classified line. Pretty good stuff. All right, next we have the Royal Guard, which is going up for pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 17th. I believe this figure will be available everywhere, so it's not just a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. According to BMAC, he did share a post on Instagram, if I read it correctly. This figure is available everywhere where fine toys are sold, so Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Hasbro Pulse, Amazon. I think Amazon. So that should be interesting. Robert Wantland says hard pass. Dang, how could you hard pass a Royal Guard? I can't stand the blue hands. Says Norman. Joshua says they could do a pack of October Guards, Hooded Cobra Commander, Cross Country, and get all their PC headaches done in one shot. That's true. I'm gonna keep saying it. It should have been a 2-pack with the male and female, says Tagworm. Yeah, a female Cobra Law would have been sick. I'm sure they might do one. The possibilities are extremely endless at this point. Liquid Identity says, no cartoon alien species for me, thanks. Tattoos and George says, I'll be getting 4 at least. Loved these when I was 6. Love them now. Yeah. I loved Cobra Law. You guys know I'm a huge G.I. Joe 87 movie fan. So the introduction to Cobra Law was freaking amazing. It fit the... Again, I know it's a departure from the original G.I. Joe cartoon and what G.I. Joe was initially stood for, but I don't know. It just works in my opinion. I loved it. Although I'm not too big on the fan that Globulus was the one that created Cobra, roughly. At least with the spore pods and all that stuff. That storyline was a little bit far-fetched because I always loved Cobra Commander being a little bit more human and grounded of him creating Cobra. So knowing that there was another guy on top of him creating, creating all this stuff. But, what was I saying? Globulus, though, there was a very interesting storyline with Globulus and Cobra Law, just with the fact that, they were trying to. They were I forgot what I think humans. Was it humans or I don't know? Or no, climate change. Climate change made them migrate to like the colder environments, something like that, and then I don't know, all this crazy shit happened, and then that's where Cobra Law came to be. Hell yeah, I'm getting 3 of these top. I'm pre-ordering 1 and will likely get some more army builder when I see them. And well, the only reason why I say the Royal Guards is going to be a freaking sick character, Mr. Sampson says, I really like the Guards. Yeah, the reason why I say this is because I don't want you, I don't know if you guys will, but I don't want you guys to regret it in the future. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because we don't know what Globulus looks like. If Globulus looks freaking fantastic, because Once a Man Cobra Commander was designed pretty decent. Nemesis and Immortal Enforcer, though not my favorite version, I still hope for a regular version. It's still designed pretty decent. Pythona is a top, 5 favorite characters of mine. Like, her classified figure is amazing. And then these Royal Guards are sculpted and designed pretty well. So I know people are saying that they're going to pass on this and they don't want a Royal Guard, but I have a feeling that once they reveal Globulus and they do some type of gimmick to make extra money for Globulus and make him look hopefully as great as Globulus can be, hopefully, fingers crossed, then the fact that people might be like, holy shit, well, I need my Royal Guards to protect Globulus because these are technically the only army builders for Cobra Law. There's no other army builder that we know of unless they create somebody new. But again, if you're into army building, this is definitely going to help protect. Think about having a whole setup, right, in your collection, away from the Cobra troopers and officers and Vipers and all that stuff. you have a whole separate section of Globulus, Pythona, Nemesis Enforcer, Immortal, Once a Man, Cobra Commander, these Royal Guards, all together, and you army build the Royal Guards. Like, that would be sick. That would be like a very, very sick display in the toy collection of Classified, because these, so far, like, I think the Cobra Laws are really greatly designed in my opinion. So that's why I feel like these Royal Guards are going to create some type of FOMO, maybe not now, but I'm looking at it long term in the sense of Globulus is going to be the one that's going to make people go back and say, oh, now I want a Royal Guard. But then you go back to Royal Guards because these are army builders. These might be harder to find and might sell out, and then people are going to sell these for a buttload on eBay. So that's why it's kind of like, take the risk now, pre-order it, even if you don't like it or whatever. Just wait until you see what Globulus looks like, and if Globulus looks like piece of shit and he doesn't look as great, then you can say, okay, I don't like these Royal Guards, I'll sell it, like whatever, I don't care for it. But it's better to be safe than sorry. At least you'll have at least some Royal Guards in your inventory of Classified figures, just in case. Loneliness Monk says, Nashar, Globulus created Serpentor. Cobra Commander had to go out and take over by any means, so Cobra Commander created Cobra. That's good. Globulus. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Globulus put that little worm inside Dr. Mindbender and gave him the idea to create Serpentor. And that's when that's when Dr. Mindbender was pissed off, because he was like, no, like, I created him, like, that was me, like, I created him. But then Globulus was like, you didn't do shit, like, that was all me. So I remember in the movie, Dr. Mindbender was like, no, he was my creation. And then I forgot, I think Destro or somebody next to him was like, dude, shut up, like, don't talk back to Globulus. Aficionados Dos Joes, welcome to the chat. Says, hey Shark, nice work keeping us updated about. Greetings from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Holy shit, we got Brazil in the house. Shout out to Aficionados Dos Joes. He was a great news coverage when the G.I. Joe team went to Brazil. So thank you for allowing me to, piggyback off of those coverages that you did too. So I really do appreciate that. So shout out to Aficionados Dos Joes. So yeah, wings go over the cape. That's rad. And also, think about it this way. The Royal Guards, right? They're kind of like modular to some extent. Think about the endless possibilities of how many versions of Royal Guards you can create. All good 49ers. Good to have you, brother. We have the wings. You can have a Royal Guard with the wings. You can have Royal Guard without the wings. We can have Royal Guards with the shoulder crustacean pieces. Royal Guards without the wrist pieces, or with or without. You have 4 heads, and then you have the weapons with or without. So you can literally create about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe like up to 11 or 12 different variants of a Royal Guard. That is amazing. So, I don't know. I think this figure is completely worth it. I mean, price-wise, you can say whatever you want about the price, but just the fact that you can create, multiple head sculpts with the Royal Guard, like, that works. Like, that's great. So, good shit. Okay, so anyway, so that is Royal Guard. Do keep in mind that tomorrow, February 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, these will be a mainline release. Roughly, Royal Guard, they did say Royal Guard is going to be everywhere, but the other figures are mainline releases. Zartan is a Target exclusive, so do not forget, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 17th. I will provide the links on my community tab page or post tab page, whatever they call it now. So I'll try to help you guys out the best I can. So In case you need a place to find your links, I'll definitely help this out. Mr. Sampson says, is this figure a deluxe? They didn't say anything about deluxe, but we can kind of say it is, like, just because it comes with a buttload of shit. So why not call it a deluxe? Who cares? So yeah, so once again, I don't want people to be like, when is this going up? February 17th, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zartan is a Target exclusive. So Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Amazon, Hasbro Pulse, wherever you buy your damn figures. So good stuff. Otherwise, take a look at these remaining figures that we have so far when it comes to G.I. Joe Classified. This is what I love about Classified, is having this giant ass school yearbook photo, or the group photo. We have Night Creeper Dire Tech version, which is a Walmart exclusive. We have Rottclaw with Paleo Viper head sculpts and the dinosaurs, which we don't know, is to be determined at the moment. Zartan is going up for pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Target exclusive, limited quantities on Hasbro Pulse. Overkill, pre-order tomorrow, February 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everywhere figures are sold. Hydro Viper, everywhere figures are sold, 1 p.m. Eastern, February. Zanya, to be determined, but we'll see what happens with her later on in the world. Then we have the three Arctic troopers, or sorry, the three Arctic figures, no, Saw Viper, Drift Viper, and the Steel Core Arctic figures, which are part of the HasLab and Arctic Assault His Tank, quote unquote, snow sub team. Those are still to be determined. We still have to wait for information about those. The Arctic Assault His Tank has already finished, so the last date to order yours was January 4th of 2026. Estimated release date is probably December, around November at some point, if it's earlier. Liquid Identity says Zanya Chameleon was a fan channel. Okay, I mean, I didn't know about that. If Zanya is a fan channel, that's cool then. That's new to me, so I apologize. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Royal Guard, we just talked about him. And then we have the HasLab the HasLab Frostbite, Lady J, and Flint figures, which it will be out by July, August or something. So we still have quite a bit of time for those HasLab figures to come out, and I'm so sick of tired and talking about those figures. Then we have Airtight, Taurus and Red Dog, and Sundown, which will all be available. Airtight and Sundown will be available tomorrow for pre-order, February 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Taurus and Red Dog to be determined, but I think those are also Amazon as well, so we'll see what happens with that. Then, what am I saying? Oh yeah, so then 2026, probably a new HasLab will be released this year. But we'll talk more about that at another time. And then we still have the other images from TOYFAIR, which was the Snake Eyes and Viper, which I believe people were saying at TOYFAIR that it's going to be a 2-pack, Snake Eyes with the ATV and the Viper with the flight pod. So that's going to be like a big giant ass 2-pack. I think that's what people were saying at TOYFAIR. So we'll see what happens. I'm waiting for official images to come up for that Snake Eyes and Viper. So we'll talk more about that at another time. Then we have the Action Soldier, which is part of the Legacy Collection. I know that was also revealed, but I'm waiting for official product shots, and then we'll talk about that at another time. Otherwise, I think that is pretty much it. So that was a freaking 2.5 hour live stream. Holy shit. Anyway, so with that being said, we're going to conclude here. Thank you guys for this very, 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 very long live stream. Probably the longest I've done on the channel so far. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for everybody that was in the chat tonight. Thank you for all the 111 likes on tonight's stream. Thank you for all of the how many people? We had almost 100 people watching on tonight's stream. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who was in the... Oh, Don Moreno. Yes, yes. But she already went up for pre-order, so that's why I forgot to include her. But she was already out there. But thank you guys all so much for joining tonight's stream, for making it one of the most exciting and fun streams tonight. I really do appreciate this. I will keep the links for tomorrow. And otherwise... Damn, 2 hours. That was crazy. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you for keeping the chats amazing. I love you all. You guys are freaking amazing. Without you, this channel would not be great. So, I appreciate it. Have a great night. Enjoy your collecting, and hopefully you guys get what you want tomorrow. So, till then, the next live stream will be, I don't know when, but I'm sure it'll be soon. Till then, thank you guys, and I'll talk to you all